Hey everyone, Taps here, and Dan Carruthers, the COO of Ecomi and Veve, just revealed some new branding and licensing of that we've not seen before, as well as some broadening out of some that we have seen. This was revealed at the NF Tokyo event that just happened, and shout out to Hello K who actually recorded this presentation. So this got me excited, and of course I started to do some digging into these new brands and what some of the collectibles could look like, when they can potentially come out, and wanted to share with you a glimpse into some potential collectibles we could be seeing in our Veve showrooms in the near future. As always, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the community and feel free to subscribe. I'm a crypto, stock, and real estate investor, but never a financial advisor. Now, first off, Dan showed Captain America in his presentation at NF Tokyo. Now, do you think he'd show the cap to potential investors in a slide deck if they didn't have Marvel? I mean, they haven't come out and said, yes, guys, we have Marvel, but we've seen the logo up here in another presentation that blatantly looked like the Marvel logo, and now we see Captain America running at the screen with 502,000 digital collectibles sold, 25 million purchased digital collectible NFTs, which I'm happy to see that they're using the NFT word, not digital collectibles, so much anymore, because they are going to be NFTs. 290K registered app users, so I'm not sure if we've gone down or if that is just an older number. 100 plus brands and licenses signed, and 50 million monthly social media impressions. So they're kicking up their marketing. But again, speculative. I mean, it sounds like we have Marvel again. I think there's no doubt that we've had Marvel for months now, but they haven't come out and said it. But here we see Captain America running at the screen towards investors. Now, if you're like me, when I was a kid during Christmas, I would look through like my mom's closet and the trunk of her car and everywhere trying to find my presents before they were wrapped because I was so excited in anticipation. That's how this felt looking into the collectibles that align with a lot of these new brands. So if you like to wait for surprises, then this video is not for you. But if you like shaking your gifts and try to figure out what they are before you can unwrap them, then we're on the same page. And before we get into what the collectibles could look like, you know what I thought right away when I saw all of this? It just kind of hit me like, I need to start stacking up some cash because this is a lot of money to buy all of these collectibles week over week for all of these brands and licenses. I mean, serious collectors, like when you say, oh, like I'm gonna be able to buy a house with my Veve collectibles, that's because it's gonna be a lot of money, like house money, to actually go into having complete sets. So make sure you're throwing some money into your piggy bank for all of these big brands that will be coming out this summer and in the future. So this is of course all speculation since we don't know what the collectibles look like until they're revealed, but we have seen a constant trend of collectibles that tend to be the highest sellers and most coveted when it comes to a collectible or a statue. And I've actually found quite a few of these before they were released in the past on Sideshow and some other collectible sites. So let's take a look at this list and what some of these collectibles may look like when they're released over the next few seasons. So we can see some of the brands that we already knew about, like WB. This is the old school Batman. We have Wonder Woman, both new school and old school. This was a new one. I don't remember seeing Green Lantern. So Green Lantern, we can see Teen Titans Go, which is the newer cartoon show, not the older one. Cyborg, so specific to the Cyborg comics. Aquaman, which this logo looks like the Jason Momoa Aquaman logo. The Flash, Shazam, Batman, Arkham Origins, which we'll get into that. Birds of Prey, Arrow for Green Arrow. It could be the show version on Netflix or the old school Arrow. Black Lightning. I wasn't able to find out what DC universe or what this logo is tied to. So if someone can figure out what this is, please let me know. But it looks like a DC logo with some kind of like caped ghoul or caped skeleton dude with a sword. DC Super Friends, Superhero Girls, Suicide Squad. A lot of these are all new, guys. Justice League, Supergirl, Infinite Crisis. We'll get into some of these. Injustice Gods Among Us. We already know about Universal Voltron, Troll Hunters, Kung Fu Panda, Trolls, Knight Rider, which is new. And then we got to see a broadening out of some that we already know about. So like not just Jurassic Park, but Jurassic Park, The Lost World, Jurassic World. So multiple different dinosaurs from multiple movies is what we can see. Fast and Furious we know about is coming up hopefully soon. Battlestar Galactica, I'm a big fan. Old school Battlestar Galactica, How to Train Your Dragon, Sony, Cartoon Network, and then not just one Star Trek, but multiple generations of Star Trek that we can see all listed here. So let's start with the first one, which was Green Lantern. So looking at Green Lantern, there's a lot of different collectibles that it really could be, but one of the most coveted collectibles is this collectible. And if you're not familiar with Green Lantern, there's multiple Green Lanterns. Basically, there's multiple rings, and so there's, different humans of Green Lantern. There's male, female. There's Hal Jordan is, I think, the most well-known. But then there's also multiple aliens who are actually Green Lanterns of their worlds as well. But this is just a good look at what some of the collectibles of Green Lantern could look like. Next is Cyborg. So again, there's the cartoon version of Cyborg and but this is the actual more hardcore graphic novel version, I believe, of Cyborg. And we can see this one looks pretty sick. This had a big price tag to it, a low limited edition amount. So I think we could see something looking like this of Cyborg in the future. Aquaman. So at first I was like, oh, well, we could see probably the other version of Aquaman, which is the blonde-haired version, like this guy right here. But then I noticed that the Aquaman logo that we saw in the presentation is the same logo that we've seen on a lot of the movie posters. So the version of Jason Momoa is possible. However, what would make sense is aligning a Jason Momoa Aquaman most likely with the next Aquaman 2, which looks like it's not coming out for about a year and a half. So we might not see Aquaman collectible coming for quite some time, or it could be in line with the next Justice League. I'm not sure. Next is the Flash. There's a lot of different Flash collectibles, but this one did jump out as being one of the most coveted. It is very realistic, and it had a limited edition of 1,200, and this one would be absolutely amazing to get. Next on the list is Shazam. I'm not a huge Shazam fan, but we can see that this is one of the higher well-known collectibles on Sideshow. It's him standing in his token confident Shazam pose. Next was, which I was excited about, was Batman Arkham Origins. So Batman Arkham Origins has tons of collectibles. So just kind of looking at some different options, what would be cool is we could see Deathstroke and this version of the Joker, this version of Batman, who's like more of like the utility version. And this is not Two-Face for those who aren't heavy into Batman. This is actually Black Mask. He's actually a competing crime lord to Two-Face and Penguin as well. But there's really tons of options from this. I mean, even having something like with both Batman and Joker in one would be absolutely incredible. There's tons of different collectible statues from this genre, so we'll be looking forward to when the Arkham Origins comes out. Next, what we saw on the list was Birds of Prey, and Birds of Prey had its own movie. I don't know when Birds of Prey 2 is coming out, but we saw this version right here of Harley Quinn with the gold overalls, and we can see these are some possible other collectibles that could align with this drop when it comes. So of course we would probably see Harley Quinn, but also Huntress, Black Canary, and we've already seen this version of Batgirl alluded to with like the bat taking her cape. So we could see this version or that version around that time. Next was Arrow. So I watched a little bit of Arrow on Netflix. It wasn't my favorite only because it was a little bit too PG for me, like not enough violence, weird enough to say. But still, there's a big fan base behind it. I think it had like 7 seasons, so we could possibly see maybe the version from that show, or we could see the Arrow from the old school cartoons and comic books, which very much looks like a Robin Hood version. And then we saw Black Lightning. So I actually had to look up Black Lightning. I'm not familiar with him. I know who Black Adam is, which I'm looking forward to seeing when The Rock comes out and doing the Black Adam movie. But Black Lightning looks like he's from some universe of Batman, from what I was able to tell. And apparently there's a couple seasons that have been out on Netflix, so I may want to check out this show because he does look pretty cool, but I don't know really much about him. And we can see there are quite a few collectibles of him, but I didn't really find any like villains or anything from this show. We see Black Lightning came out back in February, and it's soon to be released actually this month, the 4th season, on Netflix. Next, we had the old school Super Friends right here. So Super Friends are these campy, like the old school, like 1970s looking versions of Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman and Robin and Aquaman. So I imagine we'll probably see something around these. These are highly coveted. These are, the retro versions. And then what we saw next was the DC superhero girls. So when we're looking at what kind of content is going to be coming out to Veve, I'm in big support of more and more that are targeted towards a younger user. So for those of you who have kids, they are playing with some of these digital collectibles, right? But having digital collectibles that can appeal more to children, I think will be a great way of broadening out to a larger audience. But these are the DC superhero girls. There's lots of different versions, but these are the collectibles that I saw that go for, I guess, the highest price and are the most visible. So we have Batgirl and Poison Ivy and Supergirl and Wonder Woman and Harley Quinn. I'm not sure who this is, and Starfire over here in the corner. Next, we saw Suicide Squad. So Suicide Squad came out. I wasn't a huge fan of the movie personally, but it would be really cool to have a Will Smith collectible. So hopefully they go with the actual movie versions that we could see where, to be honest, like Jared Leto did look really cool in the movie. This is one version as well as the version with his trench coat on, but we could see multiple characters from this, as well as Suicide Squad 2 comes out in August of this year. Next is Justice League. So Justice League, it really could be any version. There's tons of versions, but we have seen, Zack Snyder's movies coming out. And so we could actually see, again, more and more of these versions where they're tied to movies or what's come out. So there's tons. There's even like the more older school versions that we've seen. But a lot of the collectibles that are going for some pretty good money are the ones that are tied to Zack Snyder's. Next is one that I'm really excited about, and this is the Infinite Crisis. So Infinite Crisis, I don't know what this graphic novel is about or where it came from, but it looks dope. Really, really gritty, like apocalyptic looking. So this is Nightmare Batman. Then we have the Atomic Wonder Woman. It almost looks like a Borderlands meets Batman DC. We have this like samurai looking, the Infinite Crisis Arcane Green Lantern statue. And you can even see the Superman and Supergirl Crisis on Infinite Earths collectible. It looks like Supergirl died in this version, but these collectibles look really, really cool. Lots of different options to speculate on here. And next is Injustice. So I'm not sure if you guys had a chance to play Injustice. They're pretty fun games. They're very much great graphic, beat 'em up games, and there's tons of characters in them. So they really could go any way with which characters they want to show, as there's tons in it, but this is a pretty cool collectible that goes for a lot. We can see that we have Darkseid, who is actually pretty good in the game. There's tons. You can literally look up the characters from Injustice 1, 2. There might be a third game, I'm not sure, but there are tons of characters that you could use, tons of collectibles, so we can speculate all day on who will be coming. I think Martian Manhunter would be a great collectible, but that's also in lead with Justice League. But we may not see this for a while if it's in line with the Injustice games, because it sounds like Injustice 3 probably won't be coming out until sometime in 2023. So this could be like really, really far out. Next, I'm also really excited about Voltron. So Voltron's the man. So Voltron would be great because I think it'd be great to have Transformers and all that, or some form of collectibles that actually do transform, and Voltron does do that, right? So we could, and again, speculation, but what if we had the ability to collect all 5 of these, and you could have them in their tiger or animal form, and then they themselves transform. But what if there's like a secret rare one, or if you have to complete the set in order to make them then transform collectively into Voltron? I think that'd be super cool. Next on there we had was Troll Hunter. So, and just so you guys know, like, you can go back and look at this list. So I'm skipping over the ones that we've already seen and talked and spoken about in the past, but these are the ones that I wanted to at least jump into and see what these could look like. So Troll Hunters, I was not familiar with. They look pretty cool. I don't really understand what the premise of Troll Hunters is. I think there's already a movie out, but I've never seen it. So these are, again, I think a great appeal to a younger audience. And we could see these sooner than later because Troll Hunters Rise of the Titans hits Netflix on July 21st this year. Next is Knight Rider. So Knight Rider is actually pre my time. However, I am familiar with Knight Rider and Kit. So this could be one where we're just going to see a car come out. I think it'd be dope to have the Knight Rider car. It'd be even great if we had like the music that played along with it when you drive it around. So we're going to see more and more, again, vehicles coming to the VV world and VVverse. Speaking of which, Fast and Furious. So we actually heard Dan on a recent Clubhouse on Thursday speak about how the Fast and Furious collectibles look amazing. So Fast and Furious is coming out the 24th of this month. How do I know? Because I have tickets to go watch it. And so I don't know if we'll see collectibles of like Vin Diesel and Paul Walker, RIP. But I think we're more likely to see the actual cars, which I think will be awesome because like we've heard like, you know, when Pokemon, when Moon. And then when people say like, when Lambo, we could show like a red Lambo and be like, oh, this is my Moon Lambo. Next is How to Train Your Dragon. So this appeals not only to the younger audience, but to me, I think to everyone who loves Pixar and Disney. Looking at what's the most collected of this genre, it is this one. It is Toothless, which it'd be great to see like Toothless and maybe even like Hiccup and some of the other characters that come from How to Train Your Dragon or some of the other dragons. We could even see maybe Toothless's girlfriend and this one brought me back, man. Seeing Battlestar Galactica. I haven't thought about Battlestar Galactica in a while. It's a great show if you're a sci-fi nerd. Go check it out. It used to be on Netflix, but it ran for quite a few seasons. So I would love to have a Cylon Centurion or this version, you know, get me a few Cylon toasters or even like some of the ships. Like we already saw the USS Enterprise coming with Star Trek, but we could even see some more ships coming with Battlestar Galactica. And the next one that jumped out was, we're already well aware of Subaraya and Ultraman, which, hopefully I said that right, Subaraya. I took 2 years of Japanese, and I don't remember too much besides Nihongo o wakarimasu, I understand Japanese, and I drink water, which is Mizu o nomimasu. But Subaraya, I looked him up and I was just curious. I was like, okay, so is it all Ultraman? And no, Subaraya is also the co-creator of Godzilla. So I think that's why they separate out Subaraya separate from Ultraman as well, because we could see more than one thing coming from Subaraya. So we could see Godzilla, even like a Mecha Godzilla would be really cool in the near future, or even Ghidorah. Oh man, have giant monsters hanging outside of revolts. And the other one that jumped out was Sony, which we've known about, but I actually got digging into what the collectibles are. Some of the Sony collectibles that are the most coveted and have the highest price tag are God of War and Uncharted. So we could actually see a couple different games coming out in Sony with God of War, Uncharted, and even something like a little bit more goofy where it's a bunch of different collectibles. We could see Paw Rapper the Rapper, which I haven't played that since I was like little. And we could see like Tekken and Crash Bandicoot and Little Big Planet and Wipeout and Twisted Metal would be really, really cool. And the last one that really jumped out was Cartoon Network. So we know about Powerpuff Girls, but Cartoon Network, you can let your mind just run away with it because there are so many options. Like we could see maybe like another large Cryptkins drop where there was 12 collectibles where you have a Samurai Jack and a Dexter and a Johnny Bravo and Grimm and Dee Dee from Dexter's Lab. I mean, you could really get like a ton of different things because Cartoon Network built us as we were kids, right? Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. So there's really so many ways you could run with it. I mean, you could see Looney Tunes. There's so many different options. So it's up to you on what you want to expect from Cartoon Network. But I think we can see a lot of different things coming from them in the near future. So out of all these, I'm really excited for the DC Infinite Crisis, which was like the Atomic Batman and Wonder Woman, Jurassic Park, the Fast and the Furious, Sony, and Capcom, which I didn't show Capcom because we all have seen that, Street Fighter's coming. But I'm really excited to see more and more of these branches out into a gaming world. But again, this is just scratching the surface, guys. We still have Artist Alley, the anime vertical, the sports vertical, Veveverse, all in the near future. I'm sure you guys get tired of me saying it, but we're still early. Happy Friday, everyone. Leave a comment down below on what collectibles and licensing you're most excited for. And is OMI still your homie? I've been seeing a lot of negativity and hate on Twitter and some on YouTube. So let others know that you're still in support of Ecomi Veve in the comments down below. If you found this valuable, please hit the like button so other people can see this content. And if you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button so my channel can keep growing, and the notification bell for future content. That's it for today. I'm Taps. Thank you for your time, and happy trading.